Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful start to a fresh new week. The weather in Melbourne is finally slightly improving towards warmer and hotter weather. We have officially opened up pool and summer season here in our backyard. We did a lot of tidying and cleaning and cartering, high pressure cleaning yesterday. And replacing a rotten decking board, which Stuart and I had to work out and problem solve around. And today happens to be my littlest baby's 5th birthday. Zara turns 5 today, and all the birthdays of the year now officially done. Really excited to be with you this morning to talk about the stages of business, you know, the essential things you should be doing at each stage and how to recognize what stage are you at, and are you doing the right things, or are you trying to skip too many steps and doing more high level stuff before you've done all the foundational building up of that stuff. So I have quite a few notes that I'm kind of revisiting this topic. I was cleaning out a lot of my notes on my iPhone, and I thought, and I came up to this one that I had done a few years back, and I thought, why not talk about it today? I thought it's relevant to revisit and remind people, and you guys can cross-check if where you're at in business are the things that you should be doing, because often people can see myself or other business owners that have been in the game for a lot longer, and they think they should be doing the exact same things as we are. But if you're not at that stage of your business, you need to take a few steps back and kind of do all of the foundational stuff and the building block stuff, things that happen at the startup phase, the infancy phase, as I like to call it. So today we're going to talk about 4 stages. Good morning, Kayleen. Great to see you and have you on the call. So we're going to talk about the startup and infancy stage, and this stage is where your business is between $0 and $25,000. Then we're going to progress and we're going to talk about stage 2, which is the growth or the adolescent stage. And this is the stage where the business is between about $25,000 to $200,000. Then we're going to go to the adulthood stage, stage 3. Hang on, here's my piece of paper. Scalability, the adulthood phase of your business, and that is between $200,000 and $2 million, and beyond $2 million you move into stage 4, which is the contribution stage, or the wisdom, if you like, maturity stage. So we're going to go through these. There's quite a bit of notes that I have got here. I'm more than happy if anyone wants them, email me or ping me in a private message, and there's 2 pages of notes, so you guys are not copying down everything that I'm saying. I'm probably not going to talk about every single thing. I'm going to talk about this related to my experience and the things that I did at each of these stages. In case you're curious where we're at now, we're hovering in between the adulthood and the wisdom or maturity. So between stage 3 and 4, we're kind of on the cusp of those stages. So I have been through each one of the other 3 and nearly across to the 4th one, and it's been 9.5 years. So I would say I spent the first couple of years in the startup or infancy stage. Then I would have said, I would say another 3 years after that in the growth or adolescence phase, and in the last 5 years into that adulthood, stage, and moving towards contribution now. All right, so let's start at the very first one, and that is the infancy and startup phase. And what are the things that you need to be looking out for and doing and understanding about this particular stage? So, and by the way, guys, if you have any comments or you're at whatever particular stage, I'd love to know where you recognize yourself as being right now in your business. So infancy stage or startup phase is between $0 and $25,000 in your business. And this is the stage where I believe the first thing that you have to do is get to know yourself. Get to know yourself of who you are, what your strengths are, what your limiting beliefs about business and sales and marketing are, and really until you get your stuff shit sorted, you're not going to start attracting any clients. I often share my story that it took me 5 months to get my first paying client, and that is because I had to get to know myself, what I am like, what I'm good at, what I'm scared of, what do I believe in, what should I be believing in, and smashing through some limiting beliefs and that kind of stuff. So working on yourself, and secondly then working on who you want to attract, or who is your ideal client. Now they call that the avatar. So the avatar or your ideal client is going to shift and evolve and develop over the years that you're in business, but that's okay. You got to start somewhere. So there's awesome avatar, like how to come up with your ideal client, where you describe them inside and out, how they think, what they feel, what their problem is, where your solution would fit the problem, solve the problem or fill the gap. And so therefore, you need to sort of map that out. I think it took me like a day to fill out this massive questionnaire my coach at the time gave me about the avatar. It was like 7 pages long, and they had so many different questions. But what it starts to do, it starts to really get you to understand who you are attracting and why you're attracting them. Okay, so so a couple of other things you should be doing is practicing delivering results fast. So when we start out in business, and certainly when I started out as a life coach, what used to take me to work on a client over 6 to 10 sessions in time, it would only take me 1 or 2. So I got faster at delivering and understanding what I was doing, in what order and how it was all happening, because at the beginning we're testing, measuring, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and really starting to build something that hopefully one day it's going to turn into a logical system. Develop the art of asking for referrals. And that comes from the power of networking. You guys know that how much and how passionate I am about going to events and actually pounding the pavement, leaving your computer screens and getting out there and being with people, especially in your local community. Because when you start out in business, and certainly as I'm taking you through these 4 stages, what happens is that you start out local in your 25, 30 kilometer radius, and then you expand. And I believe exactly what happened to me is when I was in infancy stage, I was pretty much startup Melbourne only. As I progressed more to the adolescent stage or the growth phase, we expanded a bit more around Australia, started those national tours, and now being at the adulthood phase, or that scalability phase, we have gone international. People work with us from international, and at contribution, I'm starting to meet and connect with other influential people. So it just starts to expand more and more and more, which means that actions at this stage should be that regular networking, 2 events per week, being a member of a couple of groups. Someone actually sent me a message just 10 minutes before I started this call, and she said to me, Nat, what do you think of BNI, Business Networking International? So this is a networking group or company that was created over in America by Ivan Meisner, and has been around for absolutely decades. I don't even know how long, but I was part of this group or part of this networking group. And by the way, they have chapters all over every town, cities, country, like they're everywhere. They're worldwide. And they're really, really suitable for startup businesses or businesses who are in infancy, because the meetings are weekly. So there is a huge commitment to turn up a week, and you can only be absent twice in 6 months. So it is quite a huge commitment that you make to them. However, what that got me to do over the 3 years that I spent at BNI, it enabled me to make great friends, which was fantastic, because then I didn't know any other business owners aside from, I didn't know any, because I was in the optical industry. All I knew was employed people in the optical industry. So what it enabled me to do is get up and say what I did every single week. So it got me to be more confident in my speaking, got me to refine my pitch, how I said it, what I should, what I do, and then keep tweaking that, because you're encouraged to say it differently every week, so that, you know, you don't get, people don't get bored from your same spiel every single week, and you're, you know, saying it one time with a testimonial, one time, you know, if you have a special offer or whatever it is. And I met a lot of actually key people that are part of my life and my business right now, like my accountant, my mortgage broker, my financial advisor. I used a lawyer from there, the bookkeeper that taught me how to do my bookkeeping properly. So the value of networking is not just, am I going to find that next client when I walk in the room? It's actually a long-term strategy where you're building relationships, and building relationship is going to be your backbone of your business, then progressing through each of the stages that we're talking about today. And look at the clock now. I have so much to say about this that I might end up splitting this live over 2 Mondays, because I have just so much to say, especially now here, the startup phase, and especially moving into the growth phase. I think I'm only going to get through a couple of these things. So let's do it properly, and we're going to do it over the next couple of Mondays. So develop the art of asking for referrals and get out there and network your little butt off. Even to this day, I say to people, I'm still attending 2 events every week. How do I do that? Well, of course, nowadays the events are my own events that I'm hosting, and that's how I get to network and meet people, and people get to meet me. Back then, it was attending other people's events, or I started my own networking group, and I actually had my own networking group for about 3.5 years. At one point, I took the responsibility and ran that regularly, attached to a Facebook group that I started that's sitting at about 15,000 members now. Okay, so practice doing business without fancy websites and business cards. This is such an important one. I really want to push the point on, because doing your business or being successful and getting clients is not going to depend on how flashy your branding is, or whether you have a business card or a properly set up website. To this day, I still say, I don't think we get any people from our website. You know, it's all of the other stuff that I'm doing to build the relationships, to nurture my database, to create compelling offers, to be live on Facebook and turn up every single Monday for the last 6 years and keep adding value to people who are watching but are not commenting. And then one day they end up being a client, and I don't realize how it happens, but then they tell me the backstory of how much value they've been receiving. So having a website, having a business card is nice, but it's not the key thing or action that you should be doing at this infancy or startup phase. You know, do something simple. You know, all of us are probably, and I don't know about you guys, but Vistaprint is the go-to company for startups, because they have really affordable business cards and things that you can get from them. But you don't need that stuff. You need your personality, you need your passion for what problem you're solving, and you need to show up and have willingness to help people. That is what is the most important thing, I believe. And when you walk into any room where you're networking, make sure that you they're knowing that what you can do is unique. Because I was caught in a place where a lot of coaches get told to get out there networking and being a life coach or business coach, and you walk into a room, there's 9 other people seemingly doing a similar thing. But the one thing you need to make sure is that you understand that you're unique, and the way you do it and with your passion and personality is the only way. So that's why I always say no one can do the Natasha Denman flavor. And that is why with what we do nowadays with Ultimate 48 Hour Author, we have a ton of competition out there in the world. Lots of people teach other people how to write books and publish and all that kind of stuff. But I don't feel I'm in competition with anyone else. The only person I'm in competition with is me, and how I do this and how I do it better. I do my best not to even look at and compare, or my only comparisons come from what other people have done research, and they come and tell me at my workshops, oh, this is different, and da, 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 or this person does that. That's how I get to find out about it, because I'm not actually interested, because I don't want to even be tempted about mimicking or copying anyone. I just want to do my own thing the way I know how to do it and how it's worked for me. So that's also, start from yourself and deliver and give people the solution to the problem that you have been able to solve for yourself. And this is what I say to my authors, don't look at too much other stuff. Like, research is great, but how about speak about your own experience and what is it that the steps that you did that you can reverse engineer, which then starts to create the framework of what your system is. All right, let's look at the next thing. Get clear on what specific problem, which is what we're talking about now, are you uniquely solving for your clients? So the problem, and I know that the people that watch and follow me are generally in a business where they have solved something for themselves that they're really successful at now, and they do it really, really great. And then they go, if I can do this for myself, I want to show other people how to do it, right? So what the specific problem is and your avatar is actually you when you had that problem before you solved it. So when you are actually writing out who you are, what does your ideal client think about, what frustrates them, what keeps them awake at night, the female, male, all of this, you're actually describing yourself at the time you had the problem. That's the easiest place to start. And then, of course, as you go through, when you start thinking from problem to solution to where you're now, are your steps of the system of what you have created for yourself. So if someone was to follow your steps, they will achieve the same outcome. So get very specific and clear, because this then becomes super important into the next stage, which is, of course, your growth or adolescence phase. And you do not move past the startup phase until you have been able to monetize $25,000 in what you're doing to move to the next point. And the last point here I wanted to say was practice being okay with asking for money in return for your service. Okay, this is a really, 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 really important thing, because you're never going to move out of any phase unless you can ask for money. And at the start of building a business, especially if you haven't had a business beforehand, asking for money is one of those things that I talked about at the very beginning, is talking about, the fact that you need to get to know yourself. And if one of the things is for you asking to be paid for what you are going to do and how you're going to help other people, those are one of your limiting beliefs and challenges. That's something you really got to work on in this very first phase, because you ain't moving past this phase unless you have monetized $25,000 in that particular, in what you're doing. Now, the $25,000 may come about because you've sold this and that. It could be many different things. You don't necessarily at this stage have to have the ultimate clarity of who you stand for and who you serve, because it's shifting and changing all of the time, and you just have to notice, what do you like doing more of, what who are you attracting. You're starting to observe what is coming into your life. And so for me, that was attracting people who wanted to work on their health and wellness. And when I would ask them, what specifically, what do you want to do? I want to lose weight. And what do you want to do? I want to lose 10 kilos. There was this kind of pattern that I kept attracting, and go, why the hell? I didn't even qualify as a personal trainer or a nutritionist. I love my mindset stuff, but I seem to be attracting all of that. Then I stopped and thought about it. And with the help of my coach at the time, I realized that 5 years before I started my business, I actually solved the puzzle of losing the last 10 kilos, which was, a little weight loss journey that I went on. And I was able to, after having my children, to maintain my weight, my ideal weight, and, have it sustainable. And I seemed to be attracting these people that wanted. So they saw something in me that they wanted for themselves. So really, really good question to ask yourself as you progress to stage 2, which is where the first point I was going to share with you is niche, is to understand what do other people see in me that they want for themselves. What do other people see in me that they want for themselves? And that's the thing that we will start to see attracting into your business, or people asking you for solutions for something that, for you, you might not even have awareness around it to begin with. But as you progress in the stages of your business, you will understand how to recognize when people are seeing, things in you that they want for themselves, and why I have written the 10 books that I have, like this one here, Guilt-Free Parents. Was when we were going on the road and starting to travel quite a bit, and people saying, how do you do this? You know, how do you not feel guilty now about all of this? And we wanted to sort of break it down, how it happens in our family. This book here, Fully Booked Retreats, was people saying, how do you do these high-end retreats? You know, what's the process and the system behind how it all happens? And that book actually delivers all of the steps that you need to do. It's not just the cherry on the top. You see the retreat. There's a whole year's work that goes into delivering those. So okay, so that's the startup phase. So let's just summarize. So work on yourself. You know, all your limiting beliefs. Get yourself a coach. You know, this is where people go, make the excuse, oh, I just need to find a few more clients in order to invest in someone to help me. You know, you ain't going to find those clients unless you can have that outsider perspective helping you and assisting you in transforming and changing your beliefs. Because doing it on your own, you know, the reason you are where you are is because, you know, you haven't got that outsider perspective or the extra help from someone who's already walked that same path before. Okay, so know who you're serving. So do a client avatar and think about yourself, of who you were before you solved your problem, right? Practice delivering results fast. The more you do it and work with clients, the faster you get at getting them to a problem to solution. Develop the art of asking for referrals and get out there networking at least twice a week. Practice doing business without fancy websites and business cards. Get specific on the problem that you're solving and how you're doing it for clients, and practice being okay. Asking for money in return for your service. Okay, so that's stage number one. That's startup and infancy. It's between $0 and $25,000. Now let's move on to stage two, and that is adolescence or the growth stage, which is between $25,000 to $200,000. And the first point, which I already touched on, is the importance of niching. Because if you don't have a niche, you sound like you're everything to everyone. You don't have even a clear picture in your own mind. So how would other people even know this? And this for me happened to me it was about 15 months into the business where we decided we would be ultimate weight loss, lose the last 10 kilos. And that was the clarity that I needed and people who were networking with me needed in order to start knowing who would be my ideal referral partners, joint ventures, and all that kind of stuff, which helped a lot. And that was only I arrived at through observing what I was attracting in the startup phase and understanding, what problem they were saying to me they wanted solved, and through me getting up every week and delivering that pitch and refining it over time. All right, so who are your core customers? So niching. So learn the value of, learn the art of value creation in any situation with your prospects. So this is now when you are meeting, prospects, how is it? Because not everyone that I help write a book values the same thing about writing a book. So I say I have 3 different clients. I have got the legacy client, I've got the leverage client, and I've got the, there was one more, leverage, legacy. So the ones that do it, launch, that's right. So my legacy clients value sharing their story for their family, just doing it for very, very just personal reasons, and just leave something behind after this earth, after they're on this earth, because books are our immortality projects. So launch clients are those ones that were like me, started in business, don't have much credibility, just don't know how to, get this off the ground the quickest way possible. Tried many marketing strategies and thought maybe a book will be the thing that will get me noticed. So those are the launch clients. And the leverage clients are those ones that already established. Maybe they've even been in business for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years. And the book is just the missing piece that a lot of people have been asking them for. They do a lot of speaking already, but they want to leverage even further and not have to continue repeating themselves. And maybe some of those clients are also working a lot one-on-one, and I meet a lot of psychologists who are my clients and want to move to the one-to-many model, so that they can deliver and make a bigger impact. So that's how I've segmented the people that I tend to see that I attract. So when I'm talking about this learned art of value creation in any situation, you need to, when you're speaking to a person, you need to start recognizing what is important to them, because you may have different people that want a different outcome from the exact same system that you have developed. Yeah. So maybe if it's, say, a health and wellness business, for some people it might be the weight loss. For some people it might be more energy and vitality in their lives. For some people it might be, if they're already an ideal weight, they might want to reshape their body or do something different. Or for some people, might be changing the way they eat. They might want to move to a different gluten-free kind of lifestyle, whatever it is. So by speaking and to prospects, you need to get good at understanding and hearing the certain things that certain people say, so that you know how to match up your service, because not everything that you are going to have within your business is going to be of value to every single client. Yeah. So my leverage clients, they don't necessarily need all of the marketing and sales that I teach. They might already have a particular system in their business, but they love the fact they're going to get their book done in 48 hours because they're super busy already. And that's the value to them. I want to get in, get out, get it fast. You project manage. I don't want to think about this, and get through it. Whereas my launch clients want everything that we offer, including all of our masterclasses and follow-up stuff, and it's a longer term relationship. And our legacy clients really just want to get their book done, and they might not even do it super fast, but they're so grateful, and they actually don't tap into the business resources as much. So start to understand, when you're speaking to a particular prospect at this stage, is who they are and how do you match up the value of what you do within them. And you need to understand, just because you've created this whole system doesn't mean that everything's going to get utilized by every single prospect, but it's up to you to communicate there's parts of it that are going to be of value to the person that you're speaking to. Same as if I'm someone else's prospect, that person needs to understand where I'm at in the business and what's more important to me over other things that they teach in the program. I did a program about a couple of years ago, setting up evergreen webinars and all that kind of stuff, where you get someone from a Facebook ad to a breakthrough session and you sell into your big program and all that kind of stuff. Now, that particular course had a lot of startup stuff, niching, understanding your niche, understanding how to copyright, all that kind of stuff. Now, that wasn't important to me. To me, it's like, how does this get set up? Let me learn how to set it up. And I had a sales component, education within it. So for me, those two things were super important to understand and learn in a deeper level, because on some of the calls that I would go, support calls, questions were being asked from really startup businesses, and then I just plucked and chose what was the value for me from that particular course, and I just did it in my own way. So understand that your clients are going to do the same thing. They're not going to model your identical journey. They're going to pick and cherry pick things that they like, they think they need versus they don't need. Sometimes people do this and they eliminate stuff because the biggest mistakes I see is when people are at infancy stage and they try to cherry pick what they want and don't want from a program, and then they don't have success from it. That's when I say, just follow what this expert's telling you, get everything. But if you're a more established business, you can start to have the choice of cherry picking what you want and what you don't want within someone's program, because you kind of know what you're doing and you have proven your success with your business. All right, so that's that point. Oh my God, guys, we are going to have to do this over 2 weeks. Learn the art of high value sales with integrity. And this is where you're doing, you're learning sales that suit your personality, that like, it's certainly great to get some training on sales, but the important thing is to do it the way you love, feel comfortable with it, and with integrity and with honesty. So you may go and learn from someone. I think there's two approaches to selling. There's the push approach, where someone can feel or sound a bit aggressive and really pushy. And then there's the pull approach, where you are educating, you're adding value, you're telling people, you know, you're explaining what you do, but through a value adding perspective, if you like. And by doing that, you are pulling in people going, well, this was awesome, but how else can we work together? Good morning, Zelda. We all something to someone. Cherry picking isn't always an option, is it? No, yeah, so it isn't. If you're a startup, you listen, you do every single thing. But as you go through being more experienced in your business, you'll know what you like, what you don't like. So certainly I had that sales training from that course, what's it called, a couple of years ago, that had a sales aspect into it. But I picked out the things out of the sales aspect that I thought, oh, this will add to my sales pitch, if you like, or how I would do it, what I feel comfortable, and other things I just left because I just didn't think I needed them, or I didn't want to do them. And that was always my one thing, you know, when you do get someone to teach you sales, or you become part of someone's, you know, program and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't done so, or you haven't been successful at sales before, certainly listen to every single thing they tell you and do it. And you'll start, once you start seeing results, you can tweak it and adjust it to suit your personality. But if you have got the results on board, then certainly just cherry pick of the things that you would like to do. All right, guys. So I'm going to have to stop here because I've got to do another live in my secret authors group. We have stopped like the third point into stage 2. So this might actually go over 3 Mondays, which is fine. It'll take me all the way up to just before America. So today we've been talking about the stages in business. There's 4 stages: the startup, the adolescence, the adulthood, and the wisdom or maturity stage, or you want to call them startup, growth, scalability, and contribution. So I've been talking about the things that you need to be doing at each of these stages, and things you shouldn't be doing or focusing on. And we're kind of a little bit through the second stage now. So we are going to bench this one till next Monday, and we're going to continue on because I think I'll do it this service if I actually just read out my points here. I do need to elaborate on them so that you kind of make sense out of what I'm saying. So I will see you same time, same place next Monday. And yeah, once I finish everything, because I don't want to send you this list for no reason. There's 2 pages of these points that I wanted to go through with you guys. I'm happy to send this out, you know, as a doc or whatever, if you private message me, so that you can go through it, you know, yourself and have the notes on it. All right, have a wonderful Monday, and rest of the week for us, it's retreat week. Retreat number 27 is this weekend here in Melbourne. We're you know, we're excited to be seeing the new group of authors go through. You know, just 4 sleeps to go, and then we officially finish our you know, event year or business year, and head off to America for a white Christmas. So I'll talk to you guys and see you next week. Bye.